What's up, man? Welcome to the studio break. Yeah, welcome to the studio break, man. I'm gonna start doing this, man, when I'm having long mix sessions, man, and need to give my ears a break. So, you know, just jumping in here, man, to see what everybody doing tonight, see what everybody working on. You dig? Wait for a few people to get in here.
Now listening to the sounds of moonshine music.
So what's up, man? Welcome to the studio break. I'm just taking a break in the studio, man, giving my ears a rest. You know what I'm saying? Been in here all day messing around, mixing songs and stuff like that. So, just want to get the ears a break. And just do a little chatting or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If anybody up for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start doing this on the regular, man. Just seeing what everybody working on and stuff like that, man. You know how it go. Everybody working on something different. Me myself, I'm working on a little R&B today, so I'm just keeping it smooth on the R&B tip today.
Now listening to the sounds of moonshine music.
Yeah, man. So just sitting here getting some work in, man. Just working and in the lab doing some of the preliminary stuff, getting this mix together. Let's see what we got here.
You are now listening to the sounds of Motion Music Group.
I'm new to this, and to be honest, I've been wounded. Not used to this, but I'm trusting you, 'cause something's gotta give. Can I let my guard down? Been through so much shit that I forgot how.
Yeah, man, just getting this baby together, man, just working. What's up, man? Talk to me, man. What everybody working on in the studio, man? If you in the studio, man, what you working on? Talk to me. Let me know something. Let me hear something good, man. Let me hear somebody working on something. Let me hear about somebody working on something. I ain't gonna be on here long, man. It's gonna be about a half-hour break, man. So I'll be on here about a half hour just messing around, just getting some stuff together, giving my ears a break, like I said. You know what I'm saying? Seeing how the studio is such a lonely place, you know what I'm saying? You be in here all the time by yourself.
I'm new to this, and to be honest, I've been wounded. Not used to this, but I'm trusting you, 'cause something's gotta give. Can I let my guard down? Been through so much shit that I've.
Yeah. Yeah, we gonna cook up, man. That's the way it is, though, man. But yeah, just taking a studio break, man. You know what I'm saying? And just giving my ears a rest. You know what I'm saying? Just taking a break. Been listening to music for a minute, so you don't want to get ear fatigue when you're trying to finish up a mix, man, because you come back the next day, man, and your mix will sound like crap. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, it won't necessarily sound like crap, but if you get ear fatigue, trust me, that last part of that mix that you was doing, man, it always end up kind of wonky a little bit and kind of off balance. So I just kind of stay focused on not getting ear fatigue, man, and just taking little breaks like I need to take them, man, so that I can actually finish a mix and the entire mix sound good. Because when you're doing R&B, man, you got different vocals that's at different levels and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And man, when you got them vocals at different levels, different frequencies and all that, man, you want to have your ears tuned in. You know what I'm saying? You want to have your ears right. So that's all it is, man. It's just that simple, man. You got to just be focused on that, man. Because when you mix it, man, your ears is the main thing. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like tips and tricks I use for mixing, man. Like I mix a song, you know what I'm saying? And when I go back to playback, get my playback and see what I'm sounding like, what I'll do, man, I'll turn all the lights off in the studio. And then I'll take the monitors and dim them all the way down. And I'm pretty much not looking at the monitors when I'm playing the music back. And I'm not talking about the studio monitors, I'm talking about the computer monitors. So I'm not looking at the mix. You know what I'm saying? Once I consider myself getting it to a point where it's sounding good, I'm not looking at the mix no more. I'm no longer looking at it. I'm not looking at anything. What I do, I darken the room. A lot of times I'll turn on my favorite color. So like you see my lights in the background, I'll turn everything on red. and red pretty much darkens the room. It don't be pitch black. I used to mix with it pitch black, but what I do, I turn all the lights on red and it get really dark in here. Dim the screens, and then once you dim them screens, man, and just play back and just sit there and just chill and listen. Man, it's a whole different experience, man, when you mixing, man. Like you really start using your ears a lot. And I think a lot of people miss that, man. They don't We got so many visual analyzers and stuff nowadays, right? That we always looking at the screen. We always looking for something, right? We always looking at the waveform. We always looking at these analyzers and stuff, man. And what we end up doing, man, you end up taking yourself off point with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one of my favorite tips, man. Just shut the room down, man. I used to do it in the dark, total dark, but now I got an LED light set up, and I go with the color red or the color blue, and I had a room nice and dim. I mean, have it set really nice, man, and you wouldn't believe how different you hear that mix, man, coming out those speakers. So start trying some of that stuff, man. That's one of the tips I give today as far as mixing, man. Just when you do your final playback on your mix, man, dim the lights or turn them all the way off, uh, and dim those screens and stop looking at the screen and just sit in the sweet spot and listen to the mix, man. And I guarantee you're gonna hear stuff that you wouldn't hear when you was actually sitting there mixing, because a lot of times when you sitting there mixing, you're moving around. You might reach for something. You might reach and if you got analog, you might reach and change the settings on something and sit back, and now you're in a different sitting position. You know what I'm saying? So you start ending up having different little nuances happen. You know what I'm saying? Because the mix is very important, man. That mix, if that mix ain't right, you ain't mastering nothing, right? So you got to get that mix dialed in, and that's just one of the things I do on the mix, man. Another thing, not necessarily no order or whatever, man. What I do, I listen to the rough mix thoroughly before I start mixing. So I mean, I sit and listen to the rough mix thoroughly. I don't just jump into the mix with my I know everything attitude, right? Because I know how to mix. Nah, every mix that I get, I treat it as if it's a brand new mix. You know what I'm saying? And you have to do that, especially for my beat makers out there. If you're a beat maker, man, you really want to approach each one like it's its own thing. I know some guys that just got a template, which is fine, because I got templates in Logic for like my tracks and stuff. When I make a track, I can just throw it in my template and do a quick mix on it. But when you really mixing a track, say for instance, you really sending this track out to somebody, you want to not really rely on your template to get you right. You want to mix that track thoroughly. You want to mix that track almost to completion, right? Because here's the deal with that: when you sending tracks out to artists, not only are you sending it out to somebody and you want it to sound good, you want it to be at its best. You want that track to perform at its best, right? Because what you trying to do when you send that track out to people, man, you trying to catch their ear. You trying to see if they can. You trying to make sure they can catch a vibe off of that track. So you want that track mixed right. You know what I'm saying? You want that track to sound good, man. So once you get that track sounding pretty much record ready, and they listening to it, and the minute they hear it, it's banging. That's what you looking for, man. So listen to that rough mix thoroughly, and understand where you want everything to sit in the mix. So, and I'm really talking to my beat makers, man, because my channel is for the beginner, right? But my beat makers, I want my beat makers to be thorough. I want my beat makers out there to be sending out tracks that's so tough. When people hear them, it may not be the best track they ever heard, but it's so professional that there's no way that they can deny it. I know that sounds crazy. It may not be something that they would normally choose, but because you got it all laid out right, man, sometimes you can catch somebody on that, man, and they'll mess with you. You know what I'm saying? But not only that, they'll mess with you just on the simple fact that everybody else been sending their beats to them kind of just regular. You know what I'm saying? And if I got 10 people that sound regular, and I get this one guy and his track is pristine, I mean, laid out, everything in place, sequence right, you can't beat that, man. You just can't beat it, you know? So, you got to be thinking along those lines, man, when you're making music. You know what I'm saying? That rough mix is important. Really sit, listen to the rough mix. Uh, I would advise to my beat makers, I wouldn't use a lot of. I wouldn't go plug in crazy, right? Whatever DAW that I'm using, I would use stock plug-ins. I wouldn't go plug in crazy on my track because what you want to do, you want to, and I mean, unless you need it. But most times my tracks are pretty much structured in a fashion to where once I use my standard plugins in a Logic, and I'll show that template one day. Standard plugins, nothing special. But man, all it does is polishes up everything. It just take everything and polish it up and get it nice and ready to listen to. So get your track like that, man. And then like I say, man, before you send it out, always review your work. So you want to go back, you want to listen to it, man, when you're doing your tracks, man, when you're mixing your tracks, don't just mix them and think you know everything. You know what I'm saying? Mix your track, take your time. Take what time you have. You might be on a deadline. Take what time you have and use it wisely, right? And then what you're going to do, like I said, when it's time to do your final listen, I want you to give your ears about a 10 or 15 minute break, hence studio break, right? You want to give yourself a break from the studio, man. A lot of times, man, just sit, relax, chill, scroll on the internet or something, go outside, take a walk, let nature retune your ears naturally. You know what I'm saying? And then come back in your room, right? Don't take no more than about 15 minutes because you don't want to lose your thoughts on your track. So go out, clear your ears, whatever method you may use for that, man. Go get you some water or something, you know what I'm saying? But when you sit down, do me a favor, man, and try this tonight, man. Turn off all the lights in your studio. Dim your screens. Dim them all the way down. Take that track and put it at a moderate level. You don't want to listen to it loud. You don't want to listen to it too low. You want to listen to it at a very comfortable level where it's not going to give you any type of ear fatigue so that you can listen to everything that you put in the track. Now, once you do that, get your volume set right, turn the track on, and just sit in the sweet spot. And your sweet spot is right in between your monitors, where your monitors make the perfect triangle. You know what I'm saying? You might know this, you might not, but your monitor should make a perfect triangle with you. It should be the equal distance between the two monitors and from each monitor to you back to your ears, to your listening zone. And basically, man, you're gonna listen with that song or that track at that level. And what's gonna happen is, man, with all the lights off and the monitors dim, you're not looking at the screen. Stop looking at the screen for the information. Because if you look at the screen will tell you to think a certain thing. So stop looking at the screen, dim them down. You don't have to turn them all the way off. Just dim them down and sit in your room in your sweet spot and play that track and listen to that track and make sure you got everything put where you want it. And if you got everything where you want it, that's one thing. But then, like I say, you can always go and make little adjustments and stuff like that. But the reason for that is you want to listen to it like it's your first time ever hearing it. That was the whole point of taking the 15-minute break. You want to listen to it like it's your first time listening to this track. You know what I'm saying? And man, once you do that, once you start mixing like that, I'm telling you, man, you're going to start finding out that some of your old mixes, you're going to start finding the mistakes in your old mixes. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you want to learn how to do when it comes to mixing. I spent maybe 13 or 14 years in Pro Tools. You know what I'm saying? And before I switched over to Logic. And man, it's a difference in just the DAWs, the way the DAWs handle information. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big difference, man. But then another thing is, man, know your monitors. Whatever studio monitors you got, man, make sure you know them though. Don't just buy monitors because you saw other people buying monitors. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, man. And once you do that, man, you should be fine, man. So I'm about ready to get back to this mix, man. Thank everybody for coming and taking the studio break with me, man. It's been over my 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So like I always say, man, don't just be a producer, be productive. Get in the studio, be working on something. Whatever you work on, make sure it make you better than you was the last time. Peace.